modules, and also the steno pad and your ball pens, so that you can write with me. Okay, so when I say write with me, write along with me. So whatever I write here in this video discussion, I hope you are writing it also in your steno pad. Okay, so in this, I hope you have those things. In this week, we're going to discuss more about brief forms. So we have a new set of brief forms that we're going to learn, and of course we also have this brief form derivatives, and lastly we have the brief form phrases. So kung titignan ninyo, yan lahat yung content ng inyong module for week 8, all brief form derivatives, brief form phrases. Okay, so now yan, let's move on. So first, we're going to learn the strokes for our new set of brief forms. So, ito mga yan. Okay? So, ano ba yung brief form? Inulit ko. Brief forms are words or special words that uses a single, one, or two strokes to represent it. So, bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng brief form? It's because these words are used in the English language or dialect more often, or palagian siyang ginagamit. Kaya, since palagian naman siyang ginagamit, palagian din siyang sinusulat when you're using shorthand writing. So, since palagian siyang sinusulat, mas madali siyang nagawan ng brief form or ng sarili niyang stroke. Okay? So, ayan. Let's try his and is. So, his and is, bakit sila magkasama? As we have said in our previous discussions, that when they are together, that means they have the same stroke. Okay, so is and his is represented by your S, left S stroke. I'm sorry, it's right pala. Right S stroke. Okay, so that's how you put S. Now you have you and your. So, you and your is represented by your downward hook. Okay, next is by. By is represented by your B stroke. Ayusin natin yung ating B ang pangit. B stroke, so B. Ayan. And then for is represented by, of course, for, it's F stroke. Can is represented by your K stroke. Mr. is represented by your M, and then your R stroke. And then have, it's represented by your V stroke, and then good is represented by your G stroke. Okay, so now don't get confused. Okay, so as I've said, kung paano ka magiging fluent sa pagsu-fluent, kung paano mo siya may memorize o may kakabesa yung mga strokes na yan, you have to keep writing. Okay, kasi yun nga, nagiging familiar din yung kamay at saka utak mo when you keep practicing. Nagiging familiar sila sa mga strokes na yan. So, as I've said, don't get confused. Kasi yung mga stroke na yan, usually they are alone. Okay, they are used alone. Not unless it is in a brief form phrase. Ayan, when it's in a brief form phrase or a brief form derivative, dun sila nagkakaroon ng kasama. Pero, when it comes to making a sentence like, this is for my classmate, okay? When you say, this is for my classmate, so for there stands alone. Wala siyang kasama. So, ngayon, madidistinguish mo kung for ba yan or F, okay? Syempre, kapag may kasama siya, kailangan mo nang i-analyze kung brief form phrase ba yon or kung word yon. So, like forget, for example. When you say forget, this is a brief form derivative. So, when you say forget, you have for and then get. Okay, so now let's analyze this. When you say this is F, and this is very clear that it is get. Now, how will you transcribe it into longhand? Of course, this is F. Pwede bang get? Di ba wala namang word na get? So, ayan, common sense strikes in. Since there's no word such as get, then you will know that it is forget. Okay? So, ayan, you really need to practice or to hone the word for the day. Anyway, joke. You really have to practice your common sense here. You have to, kumbaga, hasain yung common sense ninyo dito when it comes to shorthand writing. Okay? So, ayan. if you were not able to follow through yung mga specific na strokes dyan, you can just repeat the video. Okay? Pero anyway, as you can see naman, hindi naman sila mahirap gayahin, di ba? Drawing ng grade 1 yan. So, ayan, I hope you were able to get it in your notebooks or in your steno pads. Okay, now let's move on to our next set of words, which are the brief form derivatives. So, when you say brief form derivatives, these are the words that are derived from our brief forms. Or yung root word ng mga words na to is from the brief form. Okay? So, here is it. So, here it is. Control X. Control X. And then, let's paste it here. Control V. And then, let's bring it down a little. Okay, so we have form. Paano i-stroke ang form? We have 4, which is represented by your F stroke, and then we have M. Form. Now, forms. We have the form stroke, and then let's just put S. Next, inform. Now, here, in your inform, we have discussed the words beginning in, right? So, our in is represented by your N stroke, as long as it's in the beginning. Okay? The beginning, the words beginning in is represented by your N stroke. So, we have inform. So, we have, it is transcribed as N, F, M, and S. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong. Wala pala siyang S in forms. We have N, F, M, yan. Inform. So, let's make it longer. Yan. Inform. Okay? Next, we have force. So, we have for, and then we have S. Force. Okay? Next, we have forced. Now, forced, you write what you hear. When you say forced, try saying forced. Is it D or T? It's T. So, you write what you hear, therefore, it's forced. We have T. So, we have forced. Forced. Okay, next, we have forget. Ito yung example ko kanina. We have for, and then get. Forget. Next, we have forgive. So, we have for, and then we have g, and then we have e, and then we have v. Forgive. Next, we have afford. So, we have a, and then for. Now, what's missing? It's d. Afford. Okay? Next, we have being. So, we have be and by a while ago, which is represented by your B stroke, and then you have your ing. Okay? So, that is how you stroke being. Let's move it closer. So, ayan, as I've said, make it sure that when you're using the H and the ing stroke, it should be very near the body of the stroke. Okay? So, next, we have believe. Believe is stroked as B, of course, and then live, which is represented by your L, E, and V stroke. Okay? Next, we have became. Became. We have B, and then we have K, and then we have A, and then we have M. Became. Bakit pataas yun? Wait. We have B, we have K, we have A, then we have M. Became. Okay? Next, we have begun. So, we have, ang haba masyado ng ating K. Ulitin natin. We have B, we have K, A, M. Okay. Next, we have begun. Begun, we have B, we have G, we have A, we have N. Okay? So, ayan. Kita naman, no, yung difference ng became and begun. Next, we have because. Because, we have B, we have K, and then we have, oopsie, we have O, and then we have S. Because. Ulitin natin. We have B, we have K, we have O, we have S. Because. Okay? Next, beside. Beside, we have B, we have S, we have I, we have D. Beside. Okay, so as you can see, ang ginamit na S doon is yung ating right S. Okay, next we have before. So B, we have B, and then we have F before. B and 4. So, before. Okay, so it's brief form. It's shortcut. Next, having. Having, we have, which is represented by your V stroke, and then we have your ing, having. Next, goods. We have goods, which is represented by your G, and then we have your S. Next, cannot. Can, which is represented by K, and then not, which is represented by N. In and not have the same stroke, right, which is N. So, ayan, there you go. So, here, here is your, what's this now? Brief form derivatives, okay? So, again, if you were not able to write any of those, or not any of those, if you were not able to follow writing any of those strokes, then you just go back to the video, backward ninyo, okay? Next, let's move on to our brief form phrases. So, dun sa brief form phrases natin, we have the you and your phrase first. So, you and your. Boring ba? Ang init dito. I switched off the electric fan because, ayan. Maingay kasi yung fan, naririnig sa ano. Okay. Bakit ko daw sinasabi yun? Next, for you, of you and of your. Okay, so we have of, which is represented by your upward hook, and then your you and your, which is represented by your downward hook. Okay, so this is either of you or of your. You only need to use the common sense again to see which makes sense in the sentence. If you're going to of you, or if you're going to use of you, or you're going to use of your. Okay, so next, for you and for your. So we have for, and then we have you. So that is how you stroke for you or for your. Next, you are. So we have you, and then we have are. Okay, ulitin natin. We have you. Masyadong mahaba yung ating are. You have you, and then you have are. Okay, so you are not. We have you, are, and then not. Next, you have. So you have you, and then you have. Okay, so you have, parang malaking tenga yung you have. Okay, next we have you have not. So you just add the end stroke for you have not. So you, so parang magiging number 2 siya. You have not. Okay, so that's it for our you phrases. Now let's move on to our will phrases. Give me a second to transfer this one. Okay, so we have I will be. Now, I is represented by your big A circle. Okay, so I is a brief form. So, yung I natin is a brief form which is represented by our big A circle. Now, don't be malito. Don't be confused. Okay, I is represented by your big A circle. Ngayon, ma'am, di ba yung I is represented by the broken A circle? Okay, yes, I is represented by a broken A circle if it is included in a word. So, if it's within a word like Mike, style, spike, okay, it's in the word. It's a part of the word. But then, if yung I pertaining to a person, which is me, I, that is a brief form, which is represented by our big circle. Okay? So, if it's pertaining to yourself, yung word na I, or yung letter na I, then you use the big A circle. Pero kapag ka yung I is a part of a word, which is not pertaining to you, then you use the broken A circle. Okay? Malinaw po ba? So, kung hindi siya malinaw, you just have to message me. Comment na lang kayo sa akin dun sa ating GC, or kung hindi, mag-PM kayo para ma-explain natin. Okay? So, ayan. Next is I will be. So, when you say I is represented nga with our big circle, and then will is represented by your L. Will and well is represented by your L circle, and then we have the B, which is represented by your B stroke. Oh my gosh, did I say will, well is represented by your L circle? That's funny. Okay, so we have the L stroke for will and well. Okay, so now let's put these three together. It should look like this: I, will, and then B. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's make it better. Make it better. A, L, B. Okay, so I will be. Again, one more time. I will be. Next, I will not be. So we have I will not be. Next, I will have. I will have is represented by your V stroke. Okay, so next, you will. So we have you and then will. Okay, so you will and you are parehas sila ng stroke pero different in sizes. Okay, next we have you will not. So we have you and then will and then not. You will be. So we have you and then will and then be. You will not be. So you have you, will, not, and then be. Next, you will have. So we have you, and then will, and then have. Next, you will not have. Pahaba ng pahaba. So we have you, and then will, and then not, and then have. He will. So we have he will. It's like hell. Diba? Kung babasahin mo yan without the knowledge of short, brief form or brief form phrases, you're going to read that as hell. It's H-E-L. Tama? Hell or heal. Heal. So, ngayon, syempre, titignan mo na naman dun sa itra-transcribe mo into longhand kung ano yung mas appropriate, kung ano ba yung kailangan dun. So, you analyze, and of course, as I've said, use your common sense. Alangan naman na for example, yung sentence is he will come. Magiging he'll come. Tama pa rin naman yun, pero diba? Anyway, so ayan, as I've said, just use or like he'll come, H-E-A-L, and then come. I'm talking nonsense. I'm sorry. Anyway, so as I've said, you have to use your common sense and of course your analysis or analyzation of the terms or the words that you're going to transcribe so that makuha ninyo kung ano yung tama. Is it a brief form phrase or is it a word? So you have to analyze that, okay? Next, we will. So we have we, which is represented by your W and E, and then your L. We will. Next, we will be. We, and then will, and then be. Be. Okay? So, that is all for the will phrases. Now, let's move on to our would phrases. And again, if you were not able to follow any of the strokes, just go back para nang sa ganon makuha ninyo. You just need to practice, as I've always said, you need to keep on writing so that you will be able to get familiar with the strokes that we are doing. Okay? So, ayan. Next, we have the would phrases. Now, would is represented by your D stroke. Okay? Would is represented by your D stroke. So, for your I, it's represented by your big A circle. So, when you put that together, it should look like this. I would. If you have no knowledge of yung tinatawag na natin na brief forms and brief form phrases, you are going to read this as add. Add. Okay? So, ngayon, since na-explain naman na sa inyo yung brief form phrases and brief form words, brief form derivatives, you can kumbaga, meron na kayong choices. For example, in a sentence that says, I would be there, or I would love to see you. Okay? Alangan naman na add see you. Diba? That would not make sense. So, as I've said, now that you have the knowledge of brief form phrases, pwede na ninyo, may ibang choice na kayo. So, since it's wrong, it does not make sense, that sentence, if you use add, then why not try using I would? then I would love to see you. Not I'd see you. I'd love see you. That's wrong. Okay, so now let's move on to I would not. So we have I, and then would, and then not. So you see, as kumbaga, as we go along, 'di ba, nagiging familiar na kayo dun sa mga strokes, 'di ba? Next, you, and then would. Next, you would be. So we have you would be. Oops, wrong. Baliktad pala. You would be. Next, you would not be. So we have you would not be. So nakita ninyo yung end on, may end on. May end on. You would not be. Next, you would have. So we have you would, and then have. And then you would not have is stroked as you would not have. Okay? So, ayan. Those are your phrases for would word. Those are your would phrases. Now, let's move on to our can phrases. So, mabilis ba? We really have to make it fast since this will take a while kung babagalan natin. Baka abutin tayo dito ng isang oras. Medyo marami-rami siya. Okay. So, now, let's copy this one and move it to Paint. Yan. So now let's move on to our can phrases. Can. If others can, why can't I? Okay. We have I, big circle, and then we have can, which is represented by your K. Okay. So next we have I can be. So I can be. Ayusin natin. Ang pangit. We have I can be. Okay? I can be. Next, we have I cannot. So, we have I, and then can, and then not. I can be. I cannot be. So, we have I can not be. Okay? Next, we have can have. So, can have is just like a bigger ear. Tulad nung you have, diba? So, we have can have. Ulitin natin, masyadong malaki yung ating K. Have, can have. Now, you can have. So, you can have. Next, we have you can. So, you can. You cannot. You can and not. Next, you can be. So, we have you can be. You cannot be. So we have you, and then can, and then not, and then be. You cannot be. So let's check if I'm correct. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's cannot be. So anyway, added knowledge. But when you say cannot be, it should look like this. There. Okay. And let me just, okay, that's fine. Next, we have we can. So we have we, and then can. Next, we cannot. So we have we can, and then add not. Okay, so there you go. Now let's move on to our next set of words, which are your additional phrases. So if you were not able to write properly those that we wrote just a while ago, please go back on that area or in that part of the video, okay, and try doing it again until you get it right. So next we have it is and by the, by you. Oh, yan, additional. When it says additional, extra. Pero this is used also most of the time. So it is, you have it, which is represented by your T, and then is, which is represented by your S. So it is. Now by the, you have B, and then the, which is represented by your TH. So that is how you stroke by the. B, and then TH. Ayusin na nga lang natin. So we have B, and then we have TH. Ayan. Next, by you or by your, you have B, and then you. Next, I have. You have I. Oops, sorry. I'm thinking about B. Next, we have I, and then nasan ka na, Maruha? V. Ayusin natin. We have I, and then V. I have. Next, I have not. Have not. We have and not. Next, I have not. We have I, have, and not. Okay, so those are our additional phrases. Now, let's move on to our next set of phrases, which is your, theory and brief form phrases ang sabi dyan. A large number of high-speed phrases are possible by combining a few simple theory words with the brief forms already learned. Okay, when you say simple theory words, kumbaga, yung mga phrases kasi na usually na nagagamit, yun yung parang, since palagi nga siyang ginagamit, you can identify it, kumbaga ma-distinguish mo siya every time na, or ma-distinguish mo siya kahit na ihalo mo siya or i-combine mo siya or isilpong diay nga word doon sa mga brief form phrases na natutunan natin. Okay, so pwede mo siyang, like for example, I know, di ba? Yung I know, we always, kumbaga, it's always a part, or it's, kumbaga, palagi siyang ginagamit. Yung know, always comes after I, or you know, something like that. So that is why, naginawan ng, kumbaga, kaya siya okay lang na idugtong doon sa mga brief forms kasi ma-identify mo siya. Okay? Mababasa mo pa rin siya. The brain will be able to read it. That's why nagkaroon tayo ng mga brief form phrases or mga phrases na may brief form and of course a word. Kasi di ba nasabi ko yata dun sa mga previous lessons natin that what you put together in a brief form phrase are the brief form words. Pero ngayon, dito sa lesson 9, matututunan natin that you can actually put together a brief form and a word, yung regular word, pero yun yung tawag nila na theory word. Okay, or theory words. Simple theory words. Okay. So, ayan, without further ado, let's move on. Without further ado, ang sakit ng dila ko. Okay, I'm sorry. Next, we have, ayan. So, the first set of words that we're going to try to transcribe are this. Okay. So, ayan, I know. I and know. We have I, and then we have N, and then O. I know. Okay, ayusin natin. I know. Next, we know. So, we have we, and then know. As you, or as your, we have AS for us, and then you, for you and your. Next, as you know, we have ASU, and then N, O, as you know. Next, if the, we have if, and then the. Next, we have if you or if your, we have if, and then you. If you have. Next, we have if, and then you, and then have. If you are, we have if, and then you, and then are. If you are. Next, if you will, we have if, and then you, and then will. Next, if you can, we have if, and then you, and then can. Next, we have if you cannot, we have if, and then you, can, and not. We are, so we have we, and then are. We are not, so we have we, and then are, and then not. We have, so we have we, and then have. We need, so we have we, and then need. N-E-D, need. I need, so we have I, which is your big circle, and then need, N-E-D. D. I do. Oh, sino nag-I do dyan? We have I, and then we have do. Okay, I do not. We have I, and then do, and then not, which is represented by your N stroke. Next, we do. So we have we, and then we have D, and then we have O. We do. We, oopsie, we, and then do. So this can also be read as widow. Widow. So as I've said, it depends upon what is more appropriate to use. Ano ba yung what makes sense when you use it in that sentence, or you use this transcription in that sentence? Ano yung mas appropriate? Yung we do ba na we do, or yung widow na balo? Okay? So ayan. Next, do you. So we have do, and then we have you. Next, do you know? We have do, and then you, and then know. Next, to you or to yours. So we have to and you. Okay, so you see the difference between T and D. It should be visible. Next, to take. So we have to and then take. Next, on yours. So we have on our pala. And then our. Next, for hours. So for is represented by your F and then R. Wait, let me check. Okay. So ayan, for hour. Next, on it. So we have O and T. On it. On it. Okay? Ayan. So those are our another set of phrases, which is a combination of brief form and theory words, simple theory words. Now, let's move on to can phrases. Diba? Meron na tayong, I think, meron na tayong nano kanina. This is just an additional. Okay, so let's see. Pagod na yata ako. Haha. Okay, oops. So, let's have, sunduin muna natin yung ating mga can phrases dito kay Word, tapos lipat natin dito kay Paint. Ayan. Okay? So, let's do this. I can. So, you know now that I think, di ba, dapat by this time, you already know that, or nag-sink in na sa mga utak ninyo that I, which pertains to me, is represented by our big circle. Tama? Ang dami na nating sinulat na may I, ha? Imposible naman na hindi pa kayo na-familiarize doon. So, we have I, which is represented by a big circle, and then can. I think we were able to transcribe this already a while ago. Next, can you? Can you? Next, we can. So, we have we. Oopsie. We have we, and then can. Kung may naulit man, kasalanan po ng libro. Haha. Next, we can be. We can be. We cannot. We cannot. Next, we cannot be. We cannot be. Ulitin natin ang pangit ng aking can. We cannot be. Okay. So, now, next, we will have the will phrases. We will have the will phrases. Walay. Haha. Okay. So, ayan. We have this. Sunduin muna natin. Hatid natin dito. Ayan. Okay. So, I think I'm starting to get you bored because I'm getting bored myself. I'm just kidding. Next, we have we and then will. Next, we will have. We will and then have. We will be. So, we will be. We will not. We have we and then will and then not. We will not have. We have we and then will and then not and then have. Next, we will not be. We have we will not be. Okay, so ayan, madali-dali na, di ba? Medyo nagsisink in naman na siguro yung ating mga phrases sa inyong mga brains. Okay? Next, we have what do we have next? The would phrases. Ayan, meron naman na tayong would kanina. Bakit meron na naman? So, kasalanan po ng libro yun. I'm just kidding. Kasi may mga iba naman dito na, diba, yun nga, yung topic natin in this part of the video is yung mga phrases that has theory and brief form. Hindi purely brief form. Okay? Ayan. So, don't worry, this is the second to the last group of words that we're going to transcribe in this video. So, I hope you're still with me. Malapit na tayong mag-end, don't worry. Next, we would. So, would is represented by your D stroke, dog. Okay, so we have we, and then would. Yan. Next, we have we would have. We, and then would, and then have. Next, we would be. We have we, would be. We would not. So we have we and then would and then not. Then we would not have. We have we and then would and then not and then have. We would not be. We would not be. May N doon ha, may N. May N po doon. Ay, ulitin ko na nga lang. Sadot. We have we would not be. Okay, so now, ayan, done. Let's move on to our last set of words, which are the may and might phrases. Ooh, this is not words pala, phrases pala to. Let's move on to our next or last phrases, set of phrases, which are the might and may. Okay, phrases. Ayan. So, I might. Paano ba yung might? It's M-I-T. Tama? So, now, let's add I, which is represented by your big circle. I, ayan, might. Ayusin natin. Bakit pumunta sa taas? I might. Okay. Next, I might be. So, we have I might. Oops, pangit. I might be. Next, we might. So, we have we. Oops. We. Yan, what's happening? Pagod na yata yung aking electronic pen. Ulitin natin. We might. Okay, we might have. We might have. We might be. So we have we might be. Next, you might be. So we have you might be. Next, you might have. You might have. We may be. So we have we may. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong. We may pala nasa iniisip ko. We have we may be. So we have we and then may and then be. We may have. So we have we and then may and then have. Ma'am, yung may naman ganito po. Yeah, ganyan yung may kapag ka single. Pero kapag ka it's added to have and be, yung A nasa taas. Kasi nga, yung susunod na stroke is pababa. Okay? Yun po yung simple explanation. So, I think that's it. Yay! We're done with our week 8. So, I hope you were able to write the things that I've written here in this video on your steno pad. So, if you have any question, any clarification, or any suggestion that you want to share, please feel free to message me via Messenger. Ayan. And those who are not yet able to take the exams, please fast track your modules so that you will be able to catch up with your classmates. So, ayan. I hope to see you in our next video. Good day and God bless.